What's up, everybody, and welcome to a day in my life, so to speak. I'm Grant Hubbard. I'm the editor-in-chief of the Spectrum. We're inside the Spectrum office right now. In the next couple of days, you're going to see a couple of days in my life as the spotter for WDAY's broadcast of North Dakota State football games. So you're going to see the prep I do for the game. So today is Thursday. The game's on Saturday against St. Thomas. So you're going to watch me do my notes. And then Saturday, I'm going to take you through what I do on game day. So here we go. All right, here we are inside my office at the Spectrum. We are working through the spotting notes for North Dakota State First. So spotting notes is basically just an index card with positions and numbers written on it. So I like to put the position at the top and then the numbers of that position below it. So depending on the position group, that could differ, but we're just going through that. I am on that group of papers you see in front of me, and then when we go through the two deep, so I know who's going to be on the field most often, who's going to be likely to make the most amount of plays during the game. Once the Bison spotting notes are done, we transition to the St. Thomas notes. The only difference between the Bison notes and the St. Thomas notes is that most visiting teams don't provide depth charts, so I just have to go through the Tommy's roster and just go through, okay, what positions do these guys play? Are there any subtle changes that some teams make? Like St. Thomas has, for example, they list players as some as athletes and all-purpose players. So you have to kind of throw in your notes, but it's basically the same thing. I'll show that later in this video. Then Saturday morning, I leave my room. There I am. Wear the same stuff pretty much every game, and then we drive to the Dome. It's about an 18-minute drive for me, so there I am, arriving to the Fargo Dome. I'll pull out my credential here to show the parking attendant. They let me through. And then we head down the ramp of the Fargo Dome. So this is where the buses pull in for the visiting team. There's some local police out front. We walk down. It's a rather long ramp, so it takes a little bit to get down the ramp. But then you enter through this door, media entrance. Walk through this narrow corridor, through this door, and then there's the WDY television truck. There's some other security guys, and then we walk out to the field. There's a brief view of it with the marching band warming up. Those are my guys with WDAY. So Kyle Emanuel, Sam Getzinger, Don Mizzo, Jeff Kopak. There's Eric Bunnell, the camera guy, for their pregame show. This is the regular season finale, so they have the nickel, which is their pick'em trophy that they use. Some other shots of the field briefly. And then after the show's over at 11 a.m., I walk to the elevator that leads to the press box. So another long walk down there. Take a left here. There's the lobbies up the escalator up there. We're going to take a left at the elevator, and then we make it to the booth. So this is where, on the left is where Don Mizzo is, on the right is where Kyle Emanuel is, the play-by-play and the color guys. Got the main camera, the 50-yard line camera that Jeff Dunnick operates. Then you go over here. This is my area. That's my laptop and some more of my notes there. That's where I am pregame to work on my last-minute notes. Got a great view of the field here on the 50 pregame, watching the players warm up. They had some kids out playing before the game. It was fun to watch them. There's a robotic camera they use for the opening shots. And then here's me working on my last-minute preparation. So now I have the St. Thomas depth chart. I'm putting that into my notes as.
All right, so here's the finished product for my notes. So this is the Bison one, Bison offense, Bison defense, St. Thomas offense, St. Thomas defense, and I do the cards because I have them here. It goes on this whiteboard, so I'll put them on here. So because the Bison always seem to play on defense, I usually have the ball to start every game this year, so I usually have the St. Thomas defense and then the Bison offense behind it. So if I need to reference a player to Dom, I can do that. So I kind of just fit them on here the best I can. So there's the St. Thomas defense right there. And then during the game, so let's say the Tommies are on defense. and this is what I'm showing Dom during the game, right? So there's my little board. This is what I write for every game. So let's say for St. Thomas, let's just say Jordan Pendleton made the tackle for UST. So you put down number 17, you flash that to Dom, and that's how my that's how this works.
So after I finish my notes, I then go have some lunch, and then I meet with Ethan Eibach, my Buys No Time co-host. He's also a videographer for the production team, so we talk for a couple of hours. There he is right there. Hi, Ethan. And then we just talk for a couple hours and BS somewhat, and then we get to work.
Shields, a proud partner of Bison Athletics. 13:54 to go, third quarter. Bison punt on their opening possession of the second half. St. Thomas takes over at its own 35-yard line. Handoff goes
26, Joseph Cook, the ball carrier.
about a yard on that one.
Tackle on the
26,
Zach
Zach
Beck.
Once the game is over, I then head to the post-game press conferences to get quotes from head coach Tim Polasek and the players. So the players at the press conference were Jack Studhaffer, Brika Penu, and Anthony Janeme Alfaro, so I got some quotes from them.
All right, just got back from the game. NDSU won it 62-7 to close out an undefeated regular season. Good game to watch. Good game for me to work as the spotter. I hope you enjoyed watching these couple days in my life, and thank you for watching.